Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for this full moon in Leo video. I will start by saying that it is a particularly strong full moon, given that it is in the sign of Leo, symbolized by the Strength card in the tarot deck. So, if we're looking at the full moon in and of itself, right, it symbolizes a peak of energetic expression, very high energy frequency. And that is, in a way, symbolized by fire, right? The fire element. So when you take the full moon and you put it in the sign of Leo, which is a fire sign, you get very strong energy flow. So, and because it relates to the moon, this can speak to our emotions, our emotional self, right? Feeling a lot of emotion, feeling a lot of fire energy within us. And I believe it's absolutely imperative that you that you harness and express this fire energy in such a way that is healthy, right? That is that makes for the proper expression and use of that fire energy, right? So absolutely, I would engage in fire activities like exercise, sweating. It's so important to sweat, right? Walks are great, but to actually get that fire burning, right? Think about fire. Think about a fireplace. Think about a campfire when you're looking into the fire pit, right? What do you feel? What do you sense? That's the sort of energetic expression that I think is important to mimic during this time, right? Because fire energy that's left to sort of broil inside of us can lead to these sort of other way of expressing fire energy, the other side of fire energy, right? Because every element has its positive manifestation and its negative manifestation, so to speak, negative. So, so if we're looking at fire energy, right, it speaks to pride, strength, resilience, right? The initiative, the courage that it takes to move forward in a certain direction. It speaks to presentation, right, of the self. Namely, if we're looking at the Strength card, we very much see that sort of feeling, right, that's emanated from the card. But that manifestation, right, of energy can also, when not properly harnessed and utilized and expressed in a healthy way, can lead to its other form of expression, right? Which sometimes can lead to feelings of anger, right? Feeling just at your boiling point, feeling, sometimes it can also lead to an expression of in some ways, right? It depends, but, and we see this also with the Strength card, it can also symbolize a potential sort of feeling of, I don't want to say arrogance, but somewhat of an overcompensation of that feeling of pride, of power, of, right? So it's this fine line between the positive wielding of fire energy and that which is not conducive, right, to our ultimate desire to manifest and create. Too much fire growing wildly out of control can destroy, right, as we see on the Tower card of the tarot deck. But fire, when tempered appropriately, when contained and channeled in a way that is truly positive, truly conducive, ultimately leads to creation, right? Fire being a very creative element to work with. So having said that, right, it's a beautiful time during this full moon in Leo to assess, right, how we wield our fire energy. Everybody has fire energy. Everyone has fire energy. Some people more than others, right, depending on the planetary placements in your chart, right? And if you don't know the planetary placements in your chart, I have a service on my website, alchemyandyou.com. You can click that. It's an astrological chart report and interpretation. You'll get a feel for your elemental composition as a whole. But regardless of that, everybody has fire. Everybody has a certain level of fire. So this is a beautiful time, again, to take a step back and think about how are we exerting our will, right? Is it in a healthy way for ourselves and for others? Is it being channeled in a way that's helping us create, right? Or is it inhibiting us? Is it sabotaging our growth in some sort of way, right? So to speak. So, full moon is oftentimes a period of fruition of whatever seed or intention we planted during the new moon period. And I will say this, right? In a month, we have one new moon and we have one full moon. But that's the micro cycle. There's also a macro cycle in terms of the year. So what it means is, yes, within every month, right, you have a new moon, you set an intention, it's a brand new slate, right? Taking advantage of those very fertile energies, which then in some shape or form culminates, brings illumination and fruition at the full moon in the same month. But when looking at the macro sort of stage of manifestation, right, we look at the yearly cycle. We look at the new moon in that year that corresponds to the full moon in that year, both within the same sign. So it means the new moon in Leo, which was 6 months ago, because they are always corresponding within a 6-month interval. The new moon in Leo corresponds to the full moon in Leo. So in a more macro way, think about what you were really focused on, trying to bring to fruition, right? During the new moon period in Leo 6 months ago. And whatever that is, right, it is now reaching its peak at this full moon that we have today. So that's why I think it's so incredibly important to keep track of the moon cycles, right? It's really stepping into the rhythm of our energies by way of the moon's course. So the next new moon will be coming up, I believe, at the end of this month. So stay tuned for that. I'll have a video on that to assess sort of the energies for each of the signs during that period of time, so you can make the most of that new beginning of a cycle for the moon. All right. Nonetheless, I'd love to get started here. There's a lot of beautiful energy to work with. I'm already feeling it, high intensity. So let's get right to it. Hey there, Pisces. Ooh, we're on a roll. We are on a roll. This card came flying out immediately, right, dead center, like right aligned with this candle holder, like right, I'm talking like right aligned. And it's the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. 8 of Pentacles in and of itself is a very aligned card. It's a very centralized card, right? The energy is very directed in a focused way, in a channeled way. I'm sensing, Pisces, you are very focused on something that you have at hand, a vision that you are trying to manifest, something that you're working day in and day out towards, putting a lot of energy in, a lot of overtime. It's in reverse. A lot of energy. It's emphasized, right? It's almost a feeling of overload of work, perhaps. Okay, an overload of work, perhaps. I want to pull this card for you. Ooh, yeah, okay. And I was going to say, right, Pace yourself. Pace yourself. Pace yourself. Sagittarius also got a very similar energetic reading, right? Of having a lot on their plate, being very focused, being really, really focused, right? On a task at hand, on a position, on a career. Okay, yes. On a project that you're trying to bring into fruition and manifestation, right? But you could be feeling overloaded. Simply, you need to take a break. You need to take a breather. Maybe every 15 minutes. Like, you work really hard. Okay, have a timer. You get up from the desk, no matter what, and you take a break, right? So, and that can sometimes be hard for Pisces, right? When we really get into something, we really get into it. We put our heart and our soul into it. We want to do it right. We want to really, invest ourselves in every way into what we're doing. I know, I'm a Pisces. So it's that feeling of wanting to get something done, like staying up at night, right? And feeling like, I'm almost there. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna finish it. I just gotta do this one little thing. And then this one little thing, like, turns into, like, 6 hours of, work, let's say, or focus, or intensified output of energy, right? And that can leave you feeling a little bit depleted, right? That could be maybe why you might feel a little bit out of sorts as you charge forward along this path and journey. Because you have Strength in reverse and you have the Father of Wands in reverse. So you may be feeling, right, like your fire energy, your fire reserves are dwindling, perhaps, are almost at their, like, peak, their edge, and you're not able to support what you want to get done, perhaps, in the most efficient way because you're feeling like you don't have enough energy. So pace yourself. You have a lot on your plate. But take it easy. Take breaks. Temper that fire, right? And I know during the full moon, there's a lot of energy, very high intensity. So it could be reaching that peak where you're like, I want to do a lot. I want to act. I want to take steps and charge forward and do this and do that. I have so many ideas. I'm feeling really creative. I'm feeling really the initiative right inside in terms of your vision. But in terms of your physical ability to do it, you may feel like, I don't have energy type of thing. Like, I need a break, like that kind of feeling. Okay, so you want to do a lot. You have a lot of inner fire building up and a lot of impetus and drive and will, but physically, right? The vehicle by which you move along that path and you attain your tangible progress needs to be minded, right? So taking those breaks. I'm feeling that. Now, also popping out, we have the High Priestess card looking over at the Son of Pentacles in reverse and the Ten of Swords in reverse. Okay, let me tune in here. Okay, you are trying, right? Desperately, it seems. Relentlessly, especially with this Pentacles card, the Eight of Pentacles. And the way it popped out, oh my goodness. You are like flash forward, right? Like, I got my eye on you, right? Like, fast track, want to get it done, have your eye on the prize. Scorpio also got a very similar energy in a very similar sort of fashion, right, of their reading. So if you know Scorpio, if you know a Scorpio archetype, or if you have a Scorpio rising or moon sign, ascendant or rising, then you may want to check that out as it could have some overlap for you, okay? Nonetheless, Son of Pentacles is sandwiched in between the High Priestess, Ten of Swords in reverse. Okay. Son of Pentacles speaks to, I'm feeling the desire to initiate this new journey in terms of your career, your finances. You want to substantiate, okay, your place in this, along this new path, and you want to you want to reach a point, right, where you've put in all the effort, you've put in all the work, right, the day in and day out energy, almost like the preparative energy, preparing for the journey ahead, right? It's a lot of it's a lot of preparation work almost, right? Putting your oars in order so that you can embark forward, so that you can charge forward, so that the journey can officially begin. Getting into a rhythm where it's like, right? Bringing the project to a point of stability that inherently allows you to move forward in a more efficient way. That's what I'm feeling. There's a big emphasis on efficiency, Pisces. A big emphasis on efficiency, tempering your energy and your efforts in such a way that is efficient and conducive to this long-term fruition that you're hoping to bring about. This long-term sort of idealization of your place within this journey, within this project, right? You want to feel stable in the project. You don't want to be like always constantly, like, it's almost like this. Okay, let's say somebody, and this is so common in the startup world. When, you start a startup, it's usually you, maybe, and someone else, right? It's like a small group of people, small number of people, and you're all like working together so hard. You're doing everything. You're like every person of that company rolled up into one little team, right? You're the same person is doing email work, right? Marketing, sales. The same person is doing the accounting and the finances, the business development, so on and so forth, right? So it's very much that feeling of like having your hand in everything, right, at once, trying to do everything yourself in a way, but hoping, right, in doing that one day you're going to get to the point of enough momentum, to the point where there's enough momentum built that there's a sense of rhythm to the movement and the action and the efforts that you're putting into whatever it is that you're working towards. And I'm sensing that that's really the point that you're trying to achieve here. Okay? Okay. The High Priestess is looking over the Son of Pentacles, almost like overseeing the process that is seeming to be very much guided by your intuition, right? The way that you're proceeding is by way of your intuition, right? How do I feel about this? What's my next step? How should I do things, right? And it's in total, right, a very intuitive, spiritually inclined sort of venture path. And it's one that speaks to your soul. It speaks to your soul satisfaction, right? And that's what's really giving you the strength. It's almost the conductor of all of this energy. I mean, look at the High Priestess right next to the Son of Pentacles. Right? It's almost like the purveyor, right? Like the overseer, right? That's like the driving force for you, is this alliance and this alignment that you have with your soul truth, with your purpose, and what you intuitively feel you should do, the direction that you feel intuitively you should move in. Okay, beautiful. So 10 of Swords in reverse speaks to perhaps, right? Okay, yes, there is this dichotomy of mental, sort of intellectual rationalization of how to proceed along this new stage in your journey and how to achieve this point, right? Inherently, there are, there's sort of the intellectual approach, right? There's a lot of analysis work. There's a lot of analysis that goes into it. There's a lot of maybe research. There are a lot of little details even, right? That you need to think through, that you need to sort through, that you need to sift through. But then on the other hand, there's the intuitive approach, right? The intuitive guidance and oversight. So in a way, you're like, it's like two halves of you are almost working in tandem, that are guiding you in the work that you're doing, and even I'm sensing in your strategy. So I'm sensing there's a lot of strategic work that's going into this, okay, and an overload, maybe perhaps an overload of strategic work, feeling like so much like you have so much strategy, perhaps, but really, right? I'm sensing that your intuition has the upper hand. Your intuition has the oversight, right? You're going to align with your intuition. Whereas this mental anguish, the intellectualization, rational, what's the right thing to do? Well, the right thing is what is right for you, what intuitively feels right for you, right? It's that kind of thing, that kind of, even internalized self-talk or banter. So I'm sensing that you're doing away with this intellectualization of the perception that you have towards this new path and progress, okay? And you're being beckoned to take a more spiritually inclined approach. Wow. Yep. Daughter of Pentacles. Okay. Yes. So, and I believe you got this card as well for mid-February. Daughter of Pentacles, right? Looking over at the theme card of the Three of Pentacles in reverse. So you're trying to maintain balance, and so similar to Sagittarius' reading. Okay, you're trying to maintain balance, right? And almost like the alchemy of a foundation, you're trying to form the foundation of whatever it is you're building. You're trying to create the template, right? By which the future of this project will thrive. And the Daughter of Pentacles, I'm sensing you are very much, this is what you're actively working towards. You have your sight set on. Okay, but nonetheless, it's absolutely regarding finances, career, anything that brings you a sense of stability in the long term. You may be feeling overwhelmed yet again. Okay, the Daughter of Pentacles is almost like the feeling is like a hopeful feeling, right? There's a rainbow above the Daughter of Pentacles, foreshadowing sort of a brighter day ahead, right? I'm doing all this work because I know that the sun is coming out, right? That I'm going to reap the benefits, right? That, yes, inherently a lot of strategic work goes into building the foundation of whatever it is that I'm hoping to build, right, for the long term. And it may be a lot, right? The Three of Pentacles was in reverse with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Yes, right? And the Son of Pentacles was in reverse as well, and that precedes the Daughter of Pentacles. So I'm sensing that your progress is being made, but it requires a lot of you. And it's almost like I'm sensing that it's very much you. It's very much you are the one who is front and center with this, right? There's a lot of pressure almost on you, right? Even self-imposed, for bringing this project into fruition and culmination. And when we see and so all of those cards being in reverse kind of speaks to there's a lot that goes into it, right? The building the foundation, making sure it's stable, making sure it makes sense, making sure that it's conducive to long-term growth, scalable growth, right? A lot goes into that, and you're spending a lot of time in this process of preparation, in this process of building that foundation that will be a highly fertile space for long-term growth, okay? And with the Ten of Swords in reverse and the High Priestess upright, sandwiching that Son of Pentacles in reverse, it's like that next stage will be achieved. You're being suggested, right, to follow your intuition as you are guided through this stage of preparation, okay? So thank you so much, Pisces, for tuning in. I hope this reading was helpful for you guys. I will be back with a special secret surprise Valentine's Day video. It will be about love, but not the kind of love that you may think, all right? So it'll be exciting and interesting, and it will be in a few days. So tune in then if that is of interest for you. And also, I would highly, highly recommend you to check out your rising, ascendant, or moon sign, as oftentimes those can provide even greater insight into your situation. Okay, I know that I personally resonate a lot with my moon sign, all right? Sometimes more with my sun. Nonetheless, if you don't know your ascendant, rising, or moon, feel free to click the link below in the description box that I provide. And you can click that link, enter in your details. Just make sure, though, that your birth time is correct, even down to the very minute, as sometimes that can change your rising, ascendant, or even your moon. All right, so play around with the numbers a bit, and that should be an interesting sort of way to get to know yourself beyond just your sun sign. All right. So thank you so much again, Pisces. Enjoy this beautiful full moon. Bask under the glory of the I was gonna say sunlight, but the moonlight, really, right? Which is, it's all light. So enjoy it, and yes, I will be back with your March reading next week. So stay tuned for that as well. In the meantime, enjoy February. Have a wonderful full moon, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, Pisces.